Watch for your stories. Now, coverage you can count on. News Channel 34, 11 at 11.
Good evening, I'm Heather Hedges.
And I'm Sarah Peel. Welcome to News Channel 34, 11 at 11. We begin 11 nonstop minutes of news with heavy rains continuing across the southern tier. The rain is what's left of Hurricane Francis that hit Florida earlier this week. A flood watch is in effect for Broome, Tioga, Shenango, Cortland, Delaware, Otsego, Bradford, Wayne, and Susquehanna counties through Thursday.
Eric Hayden has been monitoring the storms all evening, and he has an update on where the heavy rain is now. Eric?
Well, the heavy rain continues to move across the area, but now it's starting to take a shift to the north. Here's our local Doppler radar again. We've had that heavy rain for the better half of this evening, but notice the darker yellows and the greens, indicating the very heaviest of the rainfall now to our north across north central Broome County, especially across Cortland and Tompkins County. You're seeing rainfall rates between about a half an inch and an inch an hour. Here's a zoomed in perspective. This kind of gives you a better idea of exactly what's happening in here in greater Binghamton. Again, still some moderate to occasionally heavy rain, Castle Creek, Whitney Point, Newark Valley, and especially over toward Richford across northern Tioga County. But notice what's happening across the southern half of Broome County over toward Conklin and Windsor. Some of the lighter blues showing up. That's indicating kind of an intensity diminishing in terms of rainfall. We think the rain will continue to become more scattered later tonight and tomorrow. But that does not mean we're out of the woods in terms of flooding. We'll tell you, have a full update on that in just a few moments.
All right, thanks, Eric. We'll check back in with you later, as you said. Well, police say the heavy rains and poor visibility contributed to a panel truck rolling over in Binghamton just before 5 o'clock today. The truck that was empty at the time hydroplaned on the wet road on the northbound side of Interstate 81 just past the Broad Street exit. The truck landed flat on its side, missing other nearby cars, thankfully. The two men in the truck had minor injuries. One was taken to Binghamton General Hospital to get treated for an injured elbow.
Tonight, members of Vestal's town board were handed a final draft of Vestal's comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan started nearly 3 years ago. It's a plan for the town's future. Vestal Supervisor Andrea Starzak tells News Channel 34 that the board will be given time to review the document before it's made available to the public. There will be a public hearing on the comprehensive plan before it's voted on by the board. Starzak expects that to happen sometime this fall. In the Utah desert today, the NASA capsule named Genesis that had been collecting data from space for almost 3 years returned to Earth with a crashing thud.
Genesis was carrying the first cargo back from space in 3 decades. Now NASA officials have moved the capsule from its desert crash site into what they're calling a clean room for examination. Tonight, officials carefully retrieved the craft from the crater it created in a Utah desert when it crashed into the ground at 193 miles per hour. It was carrying billions of electrically charged atoms collected from the solar wind that scientists hoped would help them determine the origin of the solar system. Crews are now readying the capsule for transport to the Johnson Space Center in Houston, where they will try to determine if any material can be salvaged from inside the capsule. NASA had invested $264 million in the Genesis mission. 2 stone workers were treated this morning at Wilson Hospital for minor injuries they got when 2 slabs of stone plunged from the tower on St. Paul's Church on Binghamton's north side. The men got scrapes and muscle strains while fending off the stone as it plummeted through the roof more than 20 feet below where they were working. Local roofing company Weathermaster made a fast, temporary repair just before rain from Hurricane Francis started.
Decking is splintered from the impact of the stones, and the hole size is maybe 4 by 4. So we're putting 2 sheets of plywood that will cover the whole thing up, make it solid, and then go with the rubber over top of it.
Stone repair has been going on at St. Paul's for the past few weeks and should be wrapped up in a few more.